Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, you're looking out the window. Boy, this is mist. It is like drizzling out there. Yeah, it's been like this for a couple of days, and then something it clears up. Yes, today is Saturday, May 21st, 2022, and the time is now about 6:13 a.m. in the morning. Yes. Yeah, my little girl, that's Lily, and she is resting. She's doing well. Yeah, and the other two are they must be underneath the bed. Yeah, when it gets too hot for them, they go under the bed. Yeah, all is okay over here. And what do I want to talk about today? Hmm. Well, since I'm not going out right now, I don't really like going out in the rain. Yeah, I don't want my dogs. My dogs are getting older, and one of them had like a little cough. So some things, they're delicate. These type of dogs, the lap dogs, they're not made for this type of weather. Yes. Good morning, viewer. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I hope you can hear me. Let me know if you could hear me. That the sound, because the my mouth isn't too close to the mic. Yeah, I really don't like the device near my head. Because they give off, some type of thing, and I don't want my brain to get affected. But anyways, I'm doing okay. Doing a lot of thinking. Boy, I don't know whether any of you guys out there are, you're looking at the world, and don't you feel like, boy, what is going on? What in the world is happening? Sometimes I really can't put my finger on it, but it's like a lot of distractions. That's the key word here. Distractions. The Hollywood stuff, Johnny Depp and Amber. Hollywood, I like Johnny. I mean, I like Johnny Depp's, when he first came out, uh, 30 plus years ago on 21 Jump Street. That's where I know him from. And yes, the Pirates series. Um, Not really into the pirate stuff, but there was something that he did, the movie. He played like a quirky guy, and I loved it. And I love him in those roles. It was something that was really quirky, nerdy, I should say. And I like his nerdiness persona in his drama. So yeah, and they're called like Poop Gate, and I just think this is ridiculous. Yes, thank you for this thumbs up. Yes, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yeah, so hope you guys can hear me out there. But yeah, I just think the planet, these civilizations are really going down the tubes. Oh, this media stuff with I did watch it a little bit. Johnny Depp trial. A couple of weeks ago, I was watching it consecutively. And then I said, I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't want to watch it. And I just saw it a moment ago before I did the live stream. I was curious about something because it was the video was on, uploaded just 4 days ago, and it had over 1 million views, and so my curiosity got in the way, and so I took a look, and it's just I feel foolishness, foolery, and it's about the poop gate, and that allegedly she said that she didn't do it, but the dog did it, and blaming. Johnny for it because when the dog was a puppy, it ate some of Johnny Depp's marijuana, and he's always had a bowel problems. Oh please! So if the dog had a bowel problem for all these years, you wouldn't keep him alone in a room on the bed so he could poo on. It's just stupid. And yeah, this is New York City. This is a New York City skyline you're looking at, and yes, it's raining and real steamy outside. That's why you can't really see outside the window that you usually do. But yes, it's real steamy out there. Fog, I should say, fog, deep fog. Version like zero visibility. So anyway, I just thought it was foolery. And oh, what was I just saying that? Yeah, with the poo gate. Why would you have a dog out there blaming a dog for our behaviors? And I just think it's just, oh, I remember that we're more preoccupied with this Hollywood stuff, and here being in New York City, this is the anniversary. This month, um, 5 years ago, was a serious incident where a young man, 26 years of age, had driven recklessly, deliberately in Times Square to run over people. He injured 23 people, and one of which had died, a tourist. But they had nothing, they really didn't say much about it. And for 5 years, it took 5 years for a trial. 5 years. Yes, you ask yourself why, and why now? So here, this incident that happened in Times Square was what started all those, I don't know what you call it, but these little, these cylinder-shaped items, and the things that are embedded in the ground to prevent cars from going on the sidewalk. What are they called, pylons or something? Pylons? I don't know the name. Those of you who know the name of those things, it could be made out of steel, or they might use these large cement boulders. But throughout Times Square now, you have those things to block cars from entering. And I remember looking at the videos of the incident. You had people being hit by a car, and then they walk away miraculously. It's when I don't understand this. I don't understand. You get hit so hard that you flip over the hood of the car, then you land on the ground, and then you get up without a scratch. And they were saying back then that it was CGI. I don't know whether it was CGI. I don't know. But a lot of things that they demonstrated in other videos, that you have people who know how to do computer generated, I don't know what the I stands for, images, and you can make it look like that something is being toppled over and things like that, including people. Now, whether it's CGI or not, that there is a trial going on in New York City, and it's not being covered by the media. Nothing. I wasn't even referred the video, but by by YouTube. But something just clicked in my mind the other day, and it said, "Hey, I wonder whatever happened with that Times Square incident." So I just wrote in a car driving through Times Square, something like that, and then boom, I got the video and the name of the person, Richard Rojas, from the Bronx. He's a veteran, and he was normal before. He was normal, they said. He was a pleasant guy until after he got out of the military. He was in the Navy. And that's where everything began. And the media does say that he went for help. He went to get medical help, saying that he's hearing voices, and they just let him go. Why would you do that, people? See, it seems like this system, this current, people in, people who make the laws, they allow certain things to happen. They are allowing certain things to happen. You ask yourself why. I hope you guys could hear me. You let me know if you can hear what I'm saying. So, if you can't hear me well, I have to put the mic closer to my mouth. But I really don't want to put the device near my head. Let me know if you could hear me well. If the audio's okay, just put a 1 for yes, just to let, so I know what I have to do. So anyway, why are the people in charge, why are they allowing certain events to occur that could be prevented? Why is this? So here you have a vet, and he goes to the hospital saying, I'm hearing voices. And they did nothing. And like something triggered him in the car. I personally think that it's by design that, see, when you're in the military, and I talked about this yesterday. Yeah, I did 2 live streams yesterday. And I did talk about him. That it seems that, you get a lot of injections in the military. They give you things, in boot camp. And I'm wondering whether or not they did that to him, they put something in his. And when they want to trigger somebody, because remember, right after, excuse me, excuse me, after World War II, the German scientists, they allowed them in the United States to get with jobs. And they were doing experiments. They just carried over the experiments they were doing in Europe, and they brought it here in the United States. And they did experiments on people. Some of it documented here, that what they did in the States. And in Canada too. They went to Canada also. They did it there also. And there were reports that, documentaries on what was also going on in Canada. So what would make people change? People don't change. These scientists that get into power, they're hired for a reason. And they're hired part of the control. They place controls. The system sets up controls over demographics. And again, these people, this driver, he was normal before. And his friends that were interviewed after the incident said he was an okay guy. But he went in the military. And it came out like this. So I'm wondering what's triggering people. And I talked about this before. Remember I mentioned just a couple of videos ago, about the person who was dancing in Times Square. He he was an accomplished individual. He was a fashion model. He was a went to an Ivy League school in New York City. He had an apartment. Everything. He said everything in my life was fine. And the day before the incident, his mind was like getting, acting, you know, these negative thoughts. And he didn't tell anybody about it. And then next day he goes to Times Square, and there was a sign. We have a lot of billboards in Times Square, and one of them said it was like a one-word thing. I forget. I forget if it was the word impulse or something. I forget. And he acted it out. He says, "Well, someone just told he saw the thing, and he said that something like told him, here, do it. Like be free or something." So he took off all his clothes. I mean, butt naked. Yeah, he had a good shape. He was a model, so he kept his body in shape. He was like he looked like an Asian mix, like a East Asian and white mix. Very handsome dude, very intelligent, and he had an episode. He strips all his clothes off and goes on this like there are these giant stairs for the public to sit on, and he climbs on the ledge of it and starts dancing. And you see, someone filming him, and you see all these neon signs and everything, billboards and stuff flashing, and I think he was triggered. I believe he was triggered, just like the driver from Times Square that drove through Times Square to run over people. He got triggered at the same location. I used to have a cell phone with phone service, and remember before I used to go out making live streams outside. Remember that? And around Times Square area, I will always have something disconnect. It was always a poor signal around that area. I am asking myself a question. Because again, you have all these billboards and things, and there is a device. It uses, and it's on the internet, and what do you call it? It has a patent number, so it's something that exists. It's some call it the voice of God technology. It's a device that uses microwave, and it has like a disc on it, and you can talk into this device, microwave, and your voice waves, it's being carried through the microwave, and whatever it hits, the cranium, you'll hear the audio of the person talking on this machine. A couple of years ago, I did a video about that, and I show you what the machine looks like. Yeah. And you can target it on people, and they'll think it's their thought. What if they have devices like that hidden behind those billboards on Times Square, those big bright lights and everything, and they target individuals? What if they have, like in China, they have this screen with face recognition, and it's zooming. It does a pan view of the people, and it has like like with the faces, it registers them as person this and that, whatever. They showed it in social media. It's for the social, because social index score or something like that. Because the people are all being surveillanced. And so they know immediately who's who below. And what if this person, they're able to target, oh, so and so has this implant or whatever, because they know who everybody is. And say, hey, let's activate that that chip that's inside that person, that device that's inside that person's head or body, wherever where it is. But it's something that could be triggered remotely and alter their behavior. And you notice it's always like the younger people, but it could be older people, I guess. Both of these people are in their 20s. Both of them. And they can use intelligent people, they can use average people. What if people have devices in them that can be remotely activated for them to run over people, for them to stab someone? Look at a couple of days ago, it was last month, that guy in New York City, a black man, 62 years old. And I think he also was in the military. Yeah, if he was in his 60s, he probably was served in the military, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But either way, he just seemed like a regular, he had a social media. He just seemed like a regular stressed out dude that lives in New York City, and again, it's an older man, 62 years of age. And one day he goes, he had a gun that he bought, I think over a year ago. It was some time ago he purchased a gun. But all of a sudden now, he takes his weapon and he goes on the train and puts like a tear gas. He ignites tear gas and starts shooting. But surprisingly, no one that got shot died. And they did capture the guy a day later, the next day. And they show him being arrested. And you start asking yourself, you're 62 years old, retirement age, right? Otherwise, just a regular black dude in New York City, from New York City, and you're doing this. What is going on? I'm thinking that some of these cities are using people in experiments, doing something, and can activate behaviors. And as you see with some people who are activated, they don't do anything about, like the Buffalo shooter, the guy from Buffalo. I mean, the guy that went to Buffalo, and his thing is very questionable. Targeting an 18-year-old with a high IQ, intelligence, some type of intelligence. I was told that he's from an upper middle class white family. Well, why would you do that? Why? I mean, they made up some excuse why. The matter, it's like, it's everything is like prepackaged. It's so convenient. He has all this data, like an alleged manifesto of 100 pages. Yeah, even though when he was, before he graduated, his high school notified the authorities that this guy could be potentially dangerous, and they did nothing. Nothing. And then the day before the shooting in Buffalo, he puts this ammunition at his friend's place, and the family of these people notified the authorities, and they did nothing. But yet he had an opportunity to talk to two, no, at least one person, but two people were interviewed. You know, the witnesses, these two black fellows. One of them, Lewis fellow, and then there's a McKnight. I think the name was McKnight, the other person. And they're just focusing on his T-shirt because it says the word genius. And you know, just focusing on him. It'll be really interesting, the background of this person, the alleged shooter. Was he in experiments? Was he given injections? Again, he's supposed to be a genius. What really is this person's background? Was he a targeted individual made to do certain things? Again, I don't know. Why is it that when he gets arrested, and they show a picture of him getting arrested, and interestingly, while he's being frisked by the cops, one of the other witnesses that has been getting interviewed, the young woman, she looks very young for her age, but she's older. And coincidentally, she's 33 years old, her boyfriend's 33, and she's behaving, you know, questionably. Yes, it's a stressful situation if this is a real incident, but her behavior just doesn't seem, I don't know. And you see her on the ground, pounding the ground, and just a couple of feet away from her is the shooter. So it's like a photo op, showing drama, the girl on the ground, and then showing the guy getting frisked. It just looked weird. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I feel that they're playing us for fools, personally. Again, if anyone really got killed or hurt in that shooting, my condolences to these people. Deep condolences. But the whole thing just seems to stink. All these numbers, it took 3 hours and 33 minutes for him to drive from his home to Buffalo. How coincidental is that? And several of the witnesses had a birthday the same day, on the 19th, all of the same. How likely is that to happen? Just incidentals, you know. So yeah, it's still really foggy out there, as you can see. Yeah, it's really, you know. Oh, I can have it up like that so you can see some buildings. Yeah. So what also got me to do this live stream, someone referred to me a video, you know, a movie, and it was called The Fifth Wave. I noticed that number 5 repeats itself a lot. The fifth whatever. 5G. The G5. You know, everything with the number 5. Everything. So this movie, the Fifth Wave, it's like a sci-fi movie that came out a couple of years ago. I never heard of the movie until, you know, a viewer recommended me to watch it. I was able to find the trailer, and they told me it was on Tubi. Yeah, I didn't have Tubi, So I just downloaded the app on my iPad, and I probably watch it later on. But basically, it's about uh, these. Think of it like a plague, and it's a plague that is to destroy the planet. We call it terraforming. I think it's called terraforming. When you change the planet structure, the surface, to make it uh, livable to that person, to that group. Terraforming, yeah. So they showed like a spacecraft, and they featured like a upper upper middle class white neighborhood, very idyllic, and then all of a sudden this ship is above, and it was creating all these happenings, these plagues. It set out what you call EMP, electrical magnetic pulse. When that happens, all the electronics, see that, people? Electronics like this iPad or your phones, your smartphones, it can wipe out everything, and it's inoperable. That's why people, it would be a good idea that you get books, hard, physical books. E-books are fine, but when they put a EMP slash electrical magnetic pulse, you won't be able to read your information. Usually have actual books, like I have, these are my books. Yeah, I gotta start reading them. Yeah, I'm just very distracted right now. I should start reading them. I keep getting, but when I get real anxious, I get books. It's my outlet now. But I find it so hard to focus. But I want to read them. I want to read them. I want to read them, and I need the information, what they can offer me. Yeah, so be aware about that. That when there's an attack, they will I think movies like this is to predictive programming. I think that's the first thing. Predictive programming, meaning that they show you something, and it's for your psyche to accept it. So when it happens, you just really do nothing about it. And it's almost like making it happen. It's like putting a wish out there, saying, I want such and such, and you believe in it so much, you could create your reality. And when I think maybe Hollywood creates these movies, these tragedy movies, or the end of the world movies, because it's magic. Hollywood it's named after a piece of wood that the witches used to use, make their wands out of, and it's for magic slash energy. Magic is only the altering of a frequency slash energy slash waves. Okay, and so Hollywood is creating its magic over the populace. Hollywood is doing that. So they're creating these movies and it's making it happen. It was also, I think, that they let the insiders know what to do. It's instructing them, I think. Those people who could read the clues of the movies. So this movie, The Fifth Wave, featured a young high school girl, and her world is changed overnight. Her family members passed away because of these plagues. You had flooding, you had the EMP activation, you had these birds, and of course they use crows, black crows, for the what do you call it, avian flu. So it's letting people know they're going to use biological weapons. upon a population. And look what happened. Look what else. Yeah, one of my other, a different viewer of mine yesterday shared with me about the, what do you call it, the, what do you call it, monkey virus, monkeypox or something like that. Never even heard of this. I've heard of chicken pox. I've heard of, what else? Yeah, that's the only one I know. Oh, smallpox. Now you got monkeypox or monkey virus, whatever. And yeah, yeah, I shared yesterday that videos on that. Boy, it's like we just getting over the uh, C-19 for the past 2 years. Now it's going to be monkeypox, and they said that you need direct contact with it. You don't get it through casual contact. And in one video I saw, it said you can get it through sexual transmission. Sexual transmission. But still, the person, I mean, it seemed like that the pox, like, if I guess if it's an open wound or something, so that type of thing, um, but it just seemed very bizarre. So if it's from direct contact, and then they showed a map on the areas where this monkey thing is. It's throughout Western Europe, Canada, New York, where else? But you don't see it in Africa. They didn't show anything in Africa. But one person that I watched, she spoke on behalf of this. I forget what agency was it, the CDC or the WHO, but it was some type of organization like that, and they had an African, a black British woman speaking, and she said that it comes from Africa, Central Africa. So how come? Okay, how did something from Central Africa? See, again, they always trying to make people afraid of Africa. That everything, why they show everything bad comes from Africa? So they might be getting viruses. The scientists might be going to these places to obtain the viruses, and then they let it out on the population. See, people are habitual. People do things, from one generation on and on and on and on. And no plagues and things like that. People know what foods to touch, what not to touch, you know? In my opinion, it's scientists manipulating uh, viruses and then weaponizing it and then blaming Africa / Africans that they're dangerous, and it's to make people afraid of a continent. And basically, they're not bothering anybody. They really aren't. But Africa, I should say, black Africa, I hate to say it like that, but black Africa is being vilified. But this C-19 for the past 2 years, where did that come from? It started out with the experiments at Harvard University in America. And then it was brought over to Wuhan, China, to be worked on in a lab for what they call gain of function. Gain of function, which is to take a virus from one species and you tweak it so that it could be inhabited in another species. And that's illegal to do in the United States. So it was sent over to Wuhan, China, and Dr. Fauci financed that study in Wuhan and caused a problem a 2-year problem on the planet. There are people who died from stress. And I believe my cousin died from stress and not the actual disease. She had gone to the doctor on a weekend, said that she had trouble breathing, and they told her, oh, it's just your nerves. You're okay, it's just your nerves. Well, that Monday morning, she was found dead in her bed. Her husband found her. She was dead. I think she died from stress. For something to get you that quick, that's a plague. Something to kill you in 2 days. I think it was stress. And it's sad. It's very, very sad. I didn't know her well. I didn't see her a lot growing up, but I remember her. And she was she seemed like a nice lady. She was just a little older than me. But she seemed like a nice person. I met her many, many, many years ago. Over 40 years ago. And I think it was so sad. Um, yeah. So you have all these things that are happening on the planet. And I think a lot of the things are to distract you, such as the Times Square driver, and now even the Buffalo. And both of them focus on, either the victims were black or the perpetrator was black in these instances. And it's just too close for comfort. And I feel that it's to, again, make you afraid of certain groups of people / black people. Make you afraid of Africa / black people. Now the monkey virus. I think 1 or 2 people have it here in New York. New York and one of the neighboring states. How did it get here? Who are the people that have it? Where did they go to? How did they contact monkey virus? See, things just don't pop up in a population. It has to be introduced. People are going back and forth all over the continents. But why now? Why now? Well, I think things are being released to cause the most damage, but I think, doing it slowly. They don't want to make an extreme panic, because again, we're just getting over the C-19, right? And now they're testing now this monkey thing. Again, they said you get it through direct contact. So now they're saying, one researcher is saying you could get it by sexual activity. So what is it telling you? Telling you don't make babies. And did you see over the internet? I think it was one of the. I think it was Good Morning America. One of those daytime daytime shows, and they had a doctor say something about what was that? That the vaccine for the C-19 is causing AIDS-like symptoms. It's arresting your immune system. So you don't think something, if you injected that thing in your arm, that I'll call it bug juice. If you put that bug juice in your arm and you have a partner and you engage in intimacies, you don't think that you're going to get it? People. Go look online. YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. They said that people are getting HIV. I mean, yeah, HIV. They call it VAIDS, vaccine acquired immune deficiency syndrome. that is attributed to the vaccine. Why isn't that being really pushed out there in the media? But they're going to push in the media this thing with Johnny Depp. Now, I like Johnny Depp movies. They're focusing on that. See, these are distractants. They get your favorite movie star or singer, right? You notice. You know, it's like the past 2 years. They had Bill Cosby, remember? Then they had, what's that guy? Smollett. See, they know that when you have a black person being vilified, everybody watches. Everybody watches, white and black alike. And they watch this and they're mesmerized. But meanwhile, things are happening, such as now the monkey virus that's now spreading. I mean, it's small numbers of people have it. I think it's that 1 or 2 people have it here on the East Coast. But what about all the vaccine that is giving people HIV or AIDS? They're not talking about that. Shouldn't that be a major conversation? Yes. Good morning, viewers. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it's uh, fog out there. It's drizzling and it's really really thick. Yeah, but it's outside the window. Yeah. So it's for a reason, I think. All this. Yeah, people. If you have a partner, you both better start. Well, get checked out. Get checked out if you test positive for having the HIV in your system. Get checked out. Get checked out. And protect yourself. Let's say you don't have it, but maybe your partner does. You want to protect yourself. This is, I think, a form of birth control. What do you call it? Sterilization. Say, we don't want you to reproduce anymore. It's all about destroying the natural order of things. They are destroying the natural order of mankind. Yeah, someone I don't please, I hope I'm not offending anybody. But I feel that I have to share what I am hearing about. That is part of my spiritual journey. I always felt a need to protect. And maybe it doesn't work all the time, but my heart is in the right place. My heart is always in the right place. I don't want anybody hurt. And I don't want to be hurt either. Yeah, so they seem to be souping us up to create a very sterile environment, sterilizing people through these possible, what I call bug juice in the arm. Yeah, this also, yeah, I was just mentioning one of the viewers showed me a video with called the fifth wave. So again, yeah, it's another doomsday type of picture, but it's the number 5 is a popular number, even with remember Dolores Cannon? She studied past life regression. She passed away in 2016. And she always talked about the fifth something, the fifth, and it's about that the planet is shifting. And, a lot of new ages talk about it. They always saying the fifth something. You notice that? The number 5. I don't know the significance of the number 5. But you hear it everywhere. Everywhere. So yeah, it's in stages, this gradual taking over the planet, showing, different pestilence, and in the Bible also, the book of Revelation talks about the different pestilence that will be occurring. This is all man-made. See the Bible also, in my opinion. I used to be a Christian. I'm not a Christian anymore, but the Bible, in my opinion, and again, this is not to insult one's religion. If it serves you, whatever religion serves you, you serve it. If it serves you, embrace it, enjoy it. I am not here to tell people what their religion is. That is not what I'm about. But I will share with you about my journey with regard to, my experiences with it. But the Bible seems to be an instructional manual. It's a program. And people could utilize that Bible as a weapon against others. It is a programmer. You could select who's going to play Shem, Ham, and Japheth of the Bible. Shem and Japheth are the dominant. See, 2 against 1, and Ham is the victim. So many of the victims that you see on the planet are from the tribe of Ham. And you choose your pick. You pick what you want, and you act out according to who's what in this manual. And things are done on behalf of what's in the scripture. There's all these different scriptures out there. But I noticed this one, they seem to use it a lot to excuse attitudes against certain people on the planet. I hope I'm not offending. People seem to be getting offended. Please don't get offended. I'm just saying to just be just look for what is happening. That's all I'm saying. You embrace what you want to embrace. I'm just saying what some people are doing with that information that we call scripture. And what they justify doing because of what is in the scripture. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully you're not one of the victims. So now I'm thinking about this other thing. Like, I also watched this morning this video, a very talented YouTuber. And he talked about this future city. It's being developed in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Saudi Arabia. Interesting. Wow. Yes, things are coming to my memories again with regard to Saudi. Yeah, I just also saw a film yesterday on Saudi Arabia. And that you have, starting in the 1970s, these students from Saudi Arabia, men, that they are sending to what they call Western schools. That would be the U.S., Europe, South America even. No, Central America, this person. And, in Saudi Arabia, in countries, the very strict Arab countries on the peninsula, Arabian Peninsula, they're extremely strict. And especially in the 1970s, well, you're not allowed to engage in intimacies before marriage. And these marriages are arranged. But they send out these guys to get this education, and they went amok. They had their girlfriend, their Western girlfriends that got intimate with them and got babies. They got pregnant. And when the girls announced that they were pregnant, the guys abandoned them. So this one lady in particular, I know I'm kind of going on a tangent, but it's all related, um, they tried to, yeah, this woman, one of the victims. I call them victims because see, the guys know what they're doing, and if they knew that they're on assignment to get westernized, so they understand how the Western mind thinks and what products they like and all this and that, and then they go back home and they form businesses that is going to cater to the Western taste, okay? But they took advantage of these girls. They knew that they were never going to marry them. And so the guys left. And so this one lady, victim, I call her, put up a website about her experiences. And a lot of people it turned out that she wasn't the only victim. And she was getting a lot of notification. And some of them are even, trying to, legal means to try to legally have them take care of the kid. It's really interesting. It's sad. And those, see, like the offspring and the ones that they showed were boys. And how eager they were to learn about their heritage, their father's heritage. One of them even, it was in Guatemala. Guatemala is Catholic, the country of Guatemala. And the little boy really wants to know about his roots. And so the mother sent him to a school, Islam school, a Muslim school, to learn about Islam, just to get connected with his father's roots. I feel for these women. And they also showed an adult male. He's like in his 30s, 30, no, 40s. 40s. Yeah, he was the older one. And the same thing, he's from Canada. His parents met in college, and the father left when she became pregnant. And father says he doesn't want to know him. And so he had an opportunity to recently go to Saudi. And he did find relatives. And they really like him and say, you look just like him. And they were very positive to him. And it changed his life around when he went there. Because before he went there, he felt devastated and hurt. But when, even though the father still doesn't want to see him, the act of him connecting to the country and learning about the culture and what his father must have gone through, because it's so strict over there. And again, the parents control the children. And so he said, wow, after all these years, I'm actually feeling sorry for my father, what he must have gone through. He said, I'm surprised that I would even say that. But I have to admit, after going to Saudi Arabia and learning about the culture and what his father must have gone through, it's such a stigma. And he finally, after all these years, has peace. So I'm really happy for that individual that after all these years, he finally found peace within his body. So anyway, that was a side note. But anyway, this YouTuber today, I saw it today, the video about Saudi Arabia. They're developing a futuristic society. And he called it, I think, Neon. I think it's Neom as in Mary. Neon. And they have a website. Yeah, this is taking place in Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be happening in stages. But it's a ultra modern city, and they're even building going to be a city like on water. I mean, not to get confused with America, we call it Arab Emirates. They have like an artificial island, made from sand, and it's in the shape of the world map. Not that one, but it's something else. It's going to be a big platform or something, and it's going to be on top of water. So I think it's a one uh, one I think it's a trillion. $1 trillion, I think it was. One plus trillion with a T, not billion, but a trillion project. Wow. Yes, with the new prince that they got there. Yeah, I forget his name, but he's a relatively young man, and he slowly he is slowly um, I guess you call it westernizing the culture there slowly. He now allows women to drive. Could you believe that? For me to say it like that, wow, women could drive. Now, that's a big feat. Yeah, but for Saudi Arabia, it is a big feat. Women have what they call guardianship, male guardianship. If you're a female, you always have to be under the guardianship of a male relative. Even if it's an infant, I kid you not. What happened historically that made the women like hostages in their own families? You're like a hostage. And they could come from rich family. It doesn't matter. You're a slave, a rich slave. You live at home. You can't go outside unless you have a male with you. You cannot drive your car. You can't even learn how to drive. But the current prince now is now allow the women to drive, but I'm not sure whether they can go overseas by themselves. Yeah, yeah, it's like women being trapped. Isn't this a form of slavery, people? It's slavery against a gender in that part of the world. What happened historically to do that to women? See, I think a long time ago, people, I think a long time ago that there was a war. I think women were brought here from somewhere else, somewhere far away, and the males were presented also, and they come from different species. I think that's what I'm starting to wonder. See, they can't come from the same species, so to speak, or the same planet or wherever, dimension. They're from two separate places. And that's why it works so efficiently, the stigma. And then they brought them together on this planet and put a wedge between them. There is a wedge between the sexes here. It's not natural to be in antithesis to one another. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Does it really matter? What matters is that they exist. And you have to work together to thrive. Some say that women on the planet ruled the planet. They say in India it used to be a matriarch, that it was run by women. And then something changed. And in other parts of the world also, they say that the leadership was by women, but something was introduced / the Bible. I think the Bible's talking about that in Genesis. It was Eve that was very proactive, very, very proactive. And the serpent came to her first. The serpent came to her first. So she seemed to have a lot of influence, and that's why she was the first targeted. You get the head, the body falls. Always remember that. You get the head, and the body falls, and she was the head. And only then, after that, did Adam fall, right? And once both of them got hit, that's what the civilization then changed. What the the projection upon their lives was greatly altered, and it spiraled downward. But they put a system in place to vilify women and to have men call the shots. But it wasn't like that before. And no, I'm not a woman's liver. I'm just saying, just trying to put pieces together. What could be happening? You need both men and women working together. You need both. We're stuck here together, both are together. We have to work together. And so I think with the Johnny Depp and Amber case, it's really to put a wedge between men and women, to make us seem adversary to one another. And that shouldn't be. I used to live in the Caribbean. The battery's getting low. Let me put the plug on. Oh, brother. Sorry. Yeah, I have to put the plug in. Yeah, I don't know whether it could work. Let me see if I have to turn the thing over. I hope it can still. No, it doesn't. I have to turn it back. Sorry about that. It doesn't work. Because I have to put the plug in, but it's not long enough. Let me try to. Shoot. Yeah, I was hoping the plug can go in. Oh, okay. I got it in. Sorry about that. Yeah. So they're trying to again agitate men and women. And you notice also, it's not by surprise that the Roe versus Wade, the abortion rights. It takes two to tango. But see, they're creating something. They're putting something out there now to try to put division between us. So they're using celebrities. They're using the Roe versus Wade thing, and people getting really hostile, adversarial. Wow. What else now? Yeah, so again, going back with Saudi Arabia, something happened in that culture. Something happened. And wow, it's just you just start to wonder. You have a mom, and your mother loves you, but you're going to put such hard. It's like fear. It's like they're afraid for her to go. Oh, I remember I was going to say, I used to live in the Caribbean. And they have the same similar feeling there also, that they don't want women to drive there. Women and their boyfriends in the Caribbean. When I was on the island of St. Thomas, the U.S. Virgin Islands, I was there about 30 years ago. Yeah, about 30 years ago. And I witnessed a lot of things. You have women, women with a college background, progressive women, and this one lady, I carpooled with her. She lived down the road from me, and we worked at the same place. And I didn't have my car yet, but I was saving to get a car, a used car. So she said, "Yeah, I'll you pay me $20 a week." Sure. I said, "Yeah, okay." And so she rode me up the hill. Well, evidently, not knowing who lived up on the hill with me was her former boyfriend from when she was a kid, when she was a teenager. She told me after the fact, yeah, because when she was driving me up the hill, the boy, my neighbor jumps in the center of the road. It's a hill, a real steep hill. And he jumps in the middle of the road and blocks us, but making it look like he's just playing around. And I was wondering why he was doing this, because I knew the guy, knew of him. I knew his wife. And they seemed like okay people at that time, but I learned about him. Yeah. And after the incident, I think it was the next day, when she's driving me to work, she says that she knows him. And that was her boyfriend. I think her first boyfriend ever. And that he didn't want her to learn how to drive or get a car, and forbade her. You better not get a drive. He didn't want her to get that. And I thought, wow, it's fair. They want to control you. Why they want this control? See, they feel that they're going to go get somebody else. But even if they get someone else, so what? You get somebody else. And then there was another coworker, a female. She was just a little older than me. And she had to put a court order because her boyfriend was harassing her. Well, he was, she got the court order and he was to leave the island. He gets to the airport and changed his mind and came back, and then he murdered her. I had seen that lady, my coworker, on a Wednesday. She was nice. She asked me something to do for the job. Well, that Monday morning, everybody was buzzing around in the company, and then this person said that I shared a room with showed me the newspaper that this person was murdered. She was murdered in her home. She was clobbered to death with a hammer. And their son, a toddler, was in bed and witnessed the whole thing. Could you believe that? It's like we're alien to each other. We act like we're aliens and we don't know each other. We're not a different species, we're the same species. But this is happening. This control. And I don't understand it. It's spooky. It's very, very spooky. So yeah, going back to Saudi Arabia, they're creating these new world, this new society. Ultra modern. Again, I think it's called Neon. What is it? Neom? Forget. But either way, they have a website, and they show all these different things, these plans. And as I asking myself, okay, Saudi Arabia, the peninsula, they have oil, and they're large importers of oil. And my question was, are they the only nations that have oil? And the answer is an affirmative, it's a no. No. They are not the only nations with oil. But why do they have so much influence over the planet? And why do a lot of Europeans go there? I mean, they flock over there even though women are oppressed severely. Or I should say the Arab immigrants, they go there. I mean, um, yeah, they have these projects there also. But still, the status of women and everything, and these Westerners, male and female, go there to party hard. You go there to party hard, and they don't really want you there. They don't like your culture. I mean, they don't like a lot of things, Western things, but they like certain things. They like the veneer of the Western world, the clothing, the the veneer. But at the same time, they have this view against women. But they're building their world. They're building, they know that their oil is short. It's going to run out soon. They know that. See, I don't have to like someone's culture, but I do respect them because they do what they believe. They are very, very much uh, into themselves. They love themselves. They love their religion. They love how they dress. How they dress. They love their life in the in the desert. They are pro you know Arab nomadic culture, and they reward themselves. And foreigners are treated accordingly. They'll let what you call so-called Westerners come into their country. But did you know that they live in it's a type of ghetto. It literally is a ghetto. They call it a compound. That's what they call it there. They call it a compound. It is literally gated. It's a city within a city. It's not where the Arabs live, the locals. They are completely segregated, socially segregated. This is where they live, the Westerners live. And then when they have to go to work, they go to the site where they are, instructed to, where they're to do their work. And after work's done, they have to go back in there. I kid you not. So they do the assignments. It's like feeding the monster. It's like you're forgetting what, they want you to do these things. You are creating and uplifting a system that's going to eventually be used to destroy your own communities in the Western world. But they pay good money. They're paying you good money to destroy yourself, creating these big projects. Wow. Costing him over $1 trillion in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, I asked the question, how is it that, they're not the only country with oil. Did you know that Central America has oil? Central and South America has oil. They have oil, I heard, in the Caribbean. They have oil in West Africa. Why isn't the U.S. giving West Africans that have oil the same type of clout that they do for Saudi Arabia? Why is this? Why isn't like Nigeria has oil. Northern Nigeria has a lot of oil. But you don't really hear about that. But you're hearing things like girls being, get this, girls being kidnapped. Girls being kidnapped in Nigeria. I was shocked. Nigeria? Nigeria is very Western in their thinking. I meet Nigerians in the U.S. I work with Nigerians. I went out with a Nigerian. It's like I can't believe that mindset. But see, those are the Muslim North, and that they're the ones that control the oil in Nigeria. But either way, the people who own the oil and the religious factions might be two separate individuals. You know what I mean? Like just because someone is Muslim in Nigeria, you know, the people who own the oil, doesn't mean that they're part of that other organization, the terrorist organizations there in Nigeria. Could be two different factions, you know, two different groups. But either way, all things being equal, you have Nigeria with large sums of oil, but yet you don't really hear them in the political arena. But you hear Saudi Arabia and some of the other um, Arab countries in the peninsula. They are doing so much development. I mean, they have like desertry in in Africa. You know, some desert areas. That that buffer zone area between the greenery and the desert in Africa. But you don't hear them developing this type of thing like Saudi Arabia. Why is this? So it seems like, okay, you have a product called petrol, you know, oil. But not all oil is equal, meaning that who owns that oil? Who controls it? They can say, you know, we don't want to do business with you. We want to only do business with this country. So they can limit your ability to make money, right? They don't want, what it looks like, they don't want Black Africa to get a stronghold. But for whatever reason, they're going to allow what they call Arabs to control. So I started asking myself, well, why? What's the difference? Well, it was suggested to me what what could be actually behind this. Like, not everybody is who you think they are. You have people, they might call themselves a particular thing, but that's not what they really are. You have people who go into different parts of the world and claim to be from a particular group. They may acquire a religion, acquire a language, etc. But it's not who they really are. They might say, well, what do you mean? I mean, this is controversial and may offend people, but this could be what's really running the show. Because see, all things being equal, oil should be the same. Oil is oil. And if you have a nation that seems to be overpowering and having human rights issues, you know, but why is the Western world catering to them? Well, it was suggested to me what's really going on is their identity, who they are in reality. Could they have been someone that entered into that land some years ago and acquired the identity of what you call Arab? But maybe they're not Arabs. I was told that they're actually a Jewish faction. I know that sounds wild. Um, I mean, you have Jews that used to live in that part of the world. You have Jews in Yemen. I met them. I was in school with them. Well, I should say that one lady. Yeah, Jews in this part of the world. They're there. But you may have a group that entered into what we call Saudi Arabia, and they got into power. And someone suggested to me that they're not really Arab. Yes, yes, they follow Islam, but who are they really? And it was said that they are actually a Jewish group. I mean, they're real strict. Everything is about, if you go check out Orthodoxy, they're very strict about who you marry. And you can't marry an outsider. But let's say many, 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 many years ago, that, hundreds or even thousands of years ago, you entered there, you create a religion, Islam, just like you have Judaism, and then you had Christianity, and then again now you have Islam. But let's say it's the same group that's controlling all those religions, and they just have a certain way about them. The current rulers of that land in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Arabian Peninsula, they think the same, very similar. And it seemed like the Western powers seemed to be afraid of them. What if that you have a domain that you have someone that's higher up, and they took control of what we call the Middle East, and the people that control the Western world is told to stand down, not to bother. Let's say there's an agreement. You may have private agreements between regions of the world. Why do they give the region of the world, what we call the Arabian Peninsula, so much reverence? But places like West Africa, with contempt. Well, it's who controls that domain? Who controls it? It doesn't make sense. And remember Jeffrey Epstein a couple of years ago, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein was a Jewish man, and he lived in New York City, and he was arrested eventually for human trafficking of young women to exploit them as sexually, and use these young girls to entrap adult men so you could manipulate them and take their money and other things. Remember that? Well, remember they said he had a passport. He had a passport from Saudi Arabia. You can't be a Jewish guy in Saudi Arabia, to my understanding, and give him a passport. He's a Jewish man, and they're going to issue him a passport, a Saudi Arabian passport. It had a different name on it. People, 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 wake up. This is very important. And no, I'm not trying to slam dunk Jewish people. Not all Jews are equal. Not all Jews are the same. Not all people who say that they're Jews are Jews. You have people who are religious Jews. They follow the Talmud and other things. They're quiet people. They just want to just live by the law, things like that. They don't bother anybody. But then you have those
who really are quiet about who they really belong to, who are doing havoc on the planet. And they're stealth and quiet about what their political interests are. Again, Jeffrey Epstein. I think now it'd be like 2 years since his passing. But Jeffrey Epstein had a large um, enterprise here in New York City and other places, and in the Caribbean. He had a network. And I doubt that he did this network by himself. Ghislaine Maxwell, how come in the over the news they really don't talk about her much? I don't even know whether the case is still going on. Remember Ghislaine Maxwell was the madam, alleged madam, over those girls in New York City? Why did the media cover it? Not hid it. You couldn't see her. You don't see any mugshot of her, and they blame COVID. This is all social engineering, the whole COVID thing, and they had to do something to cover up information, keep people indoors so they don't see what they need to see, right? Was a great way to keep people indoors. Oh, say you got a pandemic. It's havoc going on. There was a lot of things going on. And then they put up other news like the Cosby, Smollett. You notice they always show black people also. When they really want to mask over something, they get a black person and slam them because everybody loves to see a modern day lynching. People love to go see lynchings today, and this is just a a 21st century lynching, and they come out like in droves and see it. Yeah, I don't believe Smollett or Cosby. I believe that there were some things that they were doing, but it's being exploited. So it didn't matter whether it's true or false. What was important was to distract the public, so you didn't see the hearing with with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, and both of them are of Jewish ancestry. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was Jewish, not the mother, but she still has very strong Jewish ties. And they have this strong network. They may have multiple networks like this, but this one just leaked because the girl complained. One of the girls complained. And they complained many years ago. But see, there's a shift, I guess a political shift, and people getting cranky, whatever, and people are, pointing fingers. Yeah, you had that designer. I forget his name. He was, I think, Danish or something. I forget his name. He lived in Canada, and he had a network in the West Indies. And again, getting involved with these young teenage girls. All this weird stuff. Now, again, you don't hear anything about him now. See, I believe there's a strong network to control people and governments, and they're interconnected somehow. So again, with the Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, he mysteriously dies in prison. But they had given out, Saudi Arabia gave, well, let me just say, okay, I cannot say whether Saudi gave it to him, but somehow he got a Saudi Arabian passport. Yet it's Jew. I didn't know that they give citizenship to Jews in Saudi Arabia. I don't think so. But what if you have someone way up on that in that country who is part of a Jewish network, but they're stealth, and they want to make Saudi Arabia. I believe that they want to make, with this new thing on I think called NEOM, this new project that they're doing in Saudi Arabia, this uh, new world system that they're developing there for over $1 trillion. They want to set up a new system, and I believe that's going to be the new headquarters. That's what it looks like. A mega civilization there that's being built right now in Saudi Arabia. I mean, my curiosity is really, you know, I mean, I part of me would love to visit there because it's very new and clean, and you just live in the area for the Westerners, because, I want to retire in a safer environment. New York City is too violent for me. I'm retired. I want to live in a nice, quiet place, pretty trees and everything for me and my dogs. That's what I want. I want to just be left alone and just relax, eat good food, yeah, and meet people, read books. Yeah, so what if Saudi Arabia is being developed the way it is? They know that their oil is going to run dry. So they're pumping all their dollars and creating these mega cities. But there's no guarantee. Just because you build it doesn't mean everyone's going to move in. I mean, there is an expression there, you build it and they will come. What if you build something and they don't come? There are mega cities in China that's still not lived in by people. I mean, they showed it. A massive metropolis, and no one lives in any of those buildings. The same thing could happen. But anyway, they're doing it by faith. I mean, they trust themselves to do it. Ultra modern, and it's really bizarre. The shapes of the buildings getting bizarre too. It's just bizarre, and you start to wonder the mindset of these architectures. Shouldn't a structure be functional? It's like they're just creating it just to make it look freaky. When you build something, it has to be functional and serve a purpose. This one, it seems like they're creating a purpose that's not natural. These cities seem to be also promoting something, it just looks unnatural. Unnatural. Why? What about Africa? How is Africa going to be, what's going to happen to Africa? It's a very rich continent. It has a lot of resources. I think the indigenous people on the planet came from Africa. It is the most genetically diverse region on the world. They have more plant life, animal life, and the humans. They're very different. And somehow you notice that the Western world really cannot survive in that terrain because it's too natural. It is too natural for them. It seems like Europe and its diaspora cannot really thrive physically in a very ultra natural environment. Europeans in the Bible are called Shem. The Arab type people are called Japheth. Something, no, I'm sorry, my mistake. My mistake. Shem is the Arab race type people, and Japheth is like the European. Shem and Japheth collaborate on their projects, and they collectively attack Ham. Ham is the black world. I think they also include the Pacific Islanders or Native Australians, Indian Ocean, Southern Asia. These are all black skin race people. And you notice they don't seem to do as well in comparison to Shem and Japheth. But Africa is very genetically diverse. But it's not thriving to the. I mean, yes, there are cities in Africa right now, but it's just something kind of. I mean, you have all those. You got the diamonds, gold, copper, but somehow they're not thriving, and it baffles my mind. So I think Africa is a reservoir for Shem and Japheth. They come in, they gather, and they leave with it. They get fat. They have oil, but you don't see them making the I mean, there are projects being done. I heard there's going to be a railroad from, I think, Morocco down to, it could be Senegal, from Senegal to Morocco, something like that. A railroad or something. Yeah, I heard something about Mali. Mali, the country Mali, that's in northwest Africa. They were a French colony. And they're outing France. It seems to be that France is behind this. There was an attempted coup on Mali recently. And the leaders of Mali published something. They said some Western power was behind this coup. They didn't mention who the Western power was, but we all know it's France. Mali wants to um, send away, purge out of their country these forces, these military that's made by, that's from France. They want them out. And France doesn't like that. France doesn't like that. So it's something, these Western powers, when you say no, when an African says no to a Western power, all of a sudden something happens. So even though slavery ended, the chattel slavery ended, but the Western powers are still harassing Africa. If you say no to these Western powers, and I had to work with with France before. I used to work for a company. It was run by France, so these the staffing and stuff. Many of them from mainland France. And when I ruffled the feather, now I asked for help. I warned them. I say, hey, this person is harassing me. I went on and on. It wasn't any secret. Initially, working for them was very pleasant. But when the poo-poo hit the fan, they came after me. And interesting, the harassment that this French guy, and I didn't even work with them. We work for the same company, and it's someone who I knew. I worked in culinary, You had an American team and the French team, and we all ate together. So we knew him. We all ate at the same table and just chit chat, you know. I mean, I didn't specifically talk to him, but we all, I knew of him. I knew of his wife. And not to go in detail about it, I mean, I talked about it before, but um, he was trying to coerce me to go in a room alone with him. And I mean, I wasn't the most, um, I shouldn't down myself like that, but it's true. I was very naive. But I'm also intuitive. I might be naive about a lot of stuff. This happened like over 20 years ago. But I was intuitive. And he spoke to me really angry, very, very angry. And yet I didn't work with him. He wasn't my boss. He was ordering me to go in a room with him alone. I said to him, I was so thankful that my intuition kicked in. It threw out all my fear at that moment. And so, are you serious? I wouldn't want to be alone in any room with you. I told her. I was surprised because I was very quiet spoken back then. But the people on the job had done something to me, you know. And I was hurt, emotionally hurt about the incident. And so when this clown came around and trying to bully me, I responded the way I did because I was upset and hurt, emotionally hurt. So he said, fine, you better leave the village by such and such. I said, fine. I made sure I had my lunch. You know how I like my food. Yeah, they cooked good food there. Yes, I love good food. Yeah, I love French food. I do. They make some good food. So anyway, I had my lunch, got my ticket, and flew out. No, I took the train. Yeah, that got my ticket, but I took a train over to visit somebody before I took my flight. Yeah, but see what happens? They come after you, and when you say no, here I'm a black woman, and when I learned from that, when you butt the system, when you say no, when you stand, you don't look for trouble. Never look for trouble. Do your job. You know, mind your business. But sometimes you have people try to screw you over, and that's what happened to me. And their colors came out, and the American also was involved. Someone who I knew, and stabbed me in the back. I couldn't believe it. I had read the police report. That's how I found out, and that's what really, yeah, I was really dumbfounded. And yes, they gave the American a promotion. Yeah. So yeah, so the French they could play really dirty. Now I do love France. I've been to France. I was when I was in the military, we were stationed there a little bit. I was in the Navy, and we were at a port there for several weeks, and I loved France. I loved France when I was there. But the system, see, they're still part of a system, and when you butt the system, they come after you. And so so Mali is experiencing that. I mean, this is just how I'm interpreting. I'm going by, what happened to me, how they operate, the French operate. And then now Mali. Now Mali, again, was a colony of France. And then there's some political things going on. Something about what they call the G5. I think it's called the G5 or the G4. No, maybe it's the G4. It's some collaboration with the other African countries around Mali. But who controls it is France. But it's some alliance of these countries in Africa around Mali. But I think it's actually controlled by France. And there was some disagreement, and Mali said no. And then it was an attempt of coup, the media says. And they don't want to give him by name. That's interesting. That's interesting. I think at this game, um, that maybe you should, they already tried to do the coup. I think you should release it and call it for what it is. Isn't it horrible? Would they do that to Saudi Arabia? See, that's what I'm talking about, people. There are things that control domains. There's something that's controlling the domain of Africa, what they call Black Africa, and that if they do anything to disturb Shem or Japheth, they're going to get it. Well, African America is part of Ham, and Ham in America is being controlled by Japheth and Shem. New York City is controlled by Shem, big time. They are all over. And they, for whatever reason, have such a hatred and stronghold over Ham in this hemisphere. And you have the hybrids that are here in the Americas, primarily in the Hispanic world and Brazil. And then they're programmed to think a certain way. And also programmed to go against Black America. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. Because it is true. And it seems like they're trying to push out blacks in them, those people who identify as being a member of the black race, primarily in the Anglophone speaking world in the Americas. So you have people from Jamaica leaving Jamaica and going to Africa. Why can't they just stay in Jamaica? Well, because blacks in Jamaica do not have the real power. Well, I should say dark-skinned Jamaicans don't have the power. And it's heavily controlled by Asians, whites, and mixed bloods. And so the darker-skinned black Jamaicans don't feel that they can really thrive there. And so they're leaving. It's not the only country like that. Just look at it. And so all these things are happening. Now you got the monkeypox thing. These people are being activated. I told you that I was attacked last November in 2021. A white girl got activated. She attacked 2 other people just before she attacked me. And it didn't make a difference when I told that police officer. He got angry with me. Could you believe it? Yeah. So I think all these things are at play. All these things, they may seem like they're disconnected, but they are connected. What happens in the Middle East is connected. What happens in America. They're relying on people in America for a lot of the things. I think a lot of white Americans would probably go over to a place like Saudi Arabia to live in these ultra-modern cities, or Europeans. It is a shift. Yeah, I think Saudi Arabia is going to be the new world capital. That's what they want to try to do. It's some type of headquarters. It's something. There's no reason for Saudi to even develop these things. I mean, they have their own culture, religion, right? But why cater it to a Western taste? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Would you want someone who is in antithesis against what you believe in, your religion, and how they treat women, but they're attracting people like this there, and they have a vision. They think several hundred years ahead. They know that they're not going to live at the time when it's finished. So why even have something like that? Unless they know something, right? What if they have the technology to come back to life? What if they have this technology? You can come back as somebody else. Or the thing what they call reincarnation, people are fighting to get into these bodies, these babies. But again, they're trying to bring back the with the abortion rights and stuff like that. What if they started this thing called abortions because they want to limit how many people could um, could enter these bodies for reincarnation. You limit the number of people, then maybe you have a better chance. If you make it so easy, so it's like the strong survive. The strong survive, and so they're able to reincarnate in these certain bodies, certain ethnic groups, and they want to be on top. They're creating a society, a mega society. What for if you're not going to enjoy it? Well, maybe they are going to enjoy it. Maybe they do have the power to put their mind in another body. Or the thing about reincarnation. Did you hear there's a program called Farsight? I mentioned them several times in my videos. Farsight is an organization. They do remote viewing. They're on YouTube, Farsight. And they did a remote viewing on what happens after death. And they talked about that the earth has a grid. There's a grid, and when you die, your soul or whatever what it's called goes to this grid. And they could, again, everything is all electrical. It's all waves, wave patterns. It's like a Bluetooth. You can see things, you can hear things, with it. And so they can transmit messages to their soul and make people appear in front of them that look like loved ones. Their pets, their friends, family. And they said, to follow them. But it could be a trap. And then you follow these people, and then you get zapped, your mind gets erased, and then they put you back in some other body. I mean, it sounds bizarre, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound ridiculous? But you have people who claim that they were able to recall their past lives. You have people who go to past life regressionists like Dolores Cannon. And you have practitioners of Dolores Cannon's work. And many of the people are claiming that they had lived a prior life, right? It's possibly true. I mean, why would someone create something that they're never going to enjoy? A project. Unless there's reincarnation or to actively be able to take your human consciousness and put it in something else so they can enjoy it. I don't know any other reason. Yeah, what if demographics now, certain people here in New York City, you don't see them anymore. You don't really see certain ethnic groups anymore. You have a larger and increasing number of people from Asia. And remember at one time it was against the law to, the Asians weren't allowed in the United States. And I think they started opening up slowly in the 1970s. But now it seems like New York City has a love affair. And no, and this is not an anti-Asian thing. I'm just talking about trends. That's all I'm talking about, trends, what's happening. That they're bringing in a larger and larger number of people from Asia. And it's not by accident. Remember last year, was it? They had this thing where they were beating up Asians. It didn't matter what country they were from. And it happened in my neighborhood too. What if this was by design? To try to show a new sensitivity for Asians, so that to bring in more and more people from there, because if you say no, then you're called a racist and a bigot. But what if something, a new system is brewing in New York? You have people who take domains. They take locations, and sometimes domains could change. A changing of the hands of domains. The one person controls it, then it's moved over to another. And I think that's what's happening in New York City, or places like New York City. The changing of the guards. The changing of the guards. And it's going to have the ruling class. It's going to have its slave class. And they're also eliminating class. And they want to, in my opinion, eliminate Black Americans. So they're getting Black Americans very upset, edgy. There's constantly more and more media attention on the demise of Black people. And it's like that, we're haven't we grown up from the era of 1950s, all that drama? Don't we just want to relax and enjoy? Why are they creating movies? Yeah, there's another movie, I forget the name. But I felt it was just to trigger, oh God, I forget the name. It's a one-word name. I made discussion about it yesterday. But yeah, it was just something way over the top, I thought. And it was to provoke anger and fear in the Black community. I said, wow, they didn't have to go there. Oh, I remember. It was the movie Karen. And I was just watching a video, and then this commercial on what I was watching popped up. Why did they bring that commercial for me to see? The movie actually came out a couple of years ago. But again, it's to create the fear of these Karens. It was a crazed white suburban lady that's attacking a Black family, husband and wife in this white neighborhood. And, why are they having that? Don't you think it's to try to provoke us to leave and put in a new world order here? They don't seem to want us here. So they're creating all these things. The Buffalo incident, the Buffalo shooting. I remember they had that church shooting a couple of years back with Dylan Roof, but that one didn't really work. It's just weird. And they're making us think this is something organic. These events are by design. They are by design. And it's horrible because Black America has really served America very well. And they're just harassing us and pushing us out. And that I don't like. That I don't like. Yeah, I made mention about the super soldiers in an earlier video this week. And one of the super soldiers, I forget his name, but he made mention that that they want to create, the system wants to create a race war. And this video was done in 2013, and look what happened. That did come about. And ultimately, he said, is to eradicate us, to get us to the Back to Africa movement, and then put a bioweapon that only kills black people, according to him. He's going to put, they said that they're going to put something in the well water, and it's only going to kill certain, black people. And they already took samples. Remember with the COVID, they took nasal samples of most people on the planet. So they do a study on genetics. They're sneaky people. They got our genetics, and then they can specify a bioweapon against those specific genetics and destroy it. And then they said those people that they don't kill, that they have the ET races, extraterrestrials. They said to sell black people to the I know it sounds crazy, but to sell the black people to the extraterrestrial races. Remember, if those people who are familiar with the Super Soldier program, who have listened to it, they discuss about the ET races. They trade in genetics, according to them. They trade people as a currency, as money. And they trade them throughout the galaxies. I believe that. I believe that I believe that they are extraterrestrial races. I do my meditation, as I shared many times on my channel, and that I in my meditation had seen things. I saw spacecrafts, and I saw beings. I didn't ask to see them. I was just doing a routine meditation, and then boom, I saw what I saw. So I think it's true that you have other worlds out there. And I think that super soldier had hit on something on the head. And so, even what's his name? Credo Mutwa from South Africa. He died recently. And he talked about the extraterrestrials. He talked about it himself. It's in their literature. The Dogon of, was that Mali? I think they're from Mali. He talked about them. They talked about the different sciences that they were told. The Dogon. Yeah, there are other other intelligences out there, and yes, they do communicate with certain groups of people. Yeah, and I think it's possible. Yeah, I think it's very possible that they want to exchange our genetics. See, we have a very diversified genetics. Something with our genetics. See, our genetics is powerful. And they need this power because it's strength genetic. Its genetic code is very strong. and it could withstand certain, I guess, environments, I presume. But the European, they have a new genetics. It's not durable. So you have to try to put the pieces together. What these nations, how they related to each other. How is Saudi Arabia? How is the U.S.? How is Africa? Well, how they're all related, and why are all the distractions? Yeah. And again, this person referred to me this video I may mention earlier in this live stream, the fifth wave. Again, you're going to hear a lot of five everything, five. And that movie again is different stages of how these um, invaders of the planet are going to, in stages, destroy it. Earthquake, EMPs, pestilence, you know, and then there's two more plagues, whatever. I think they're just letting you know how they're going to try to do it. You know, no matter what happens, I want to, we don't live forever. That's one thing. We don't live forever in this body. So just I guess be at peace with your maker. You say no matter what happens, you want to live that spiritual life of wholeness and wellness. That is more precious than gold. You have people who run after power, run after wealth, and you can't really take it with you. And they're miserable. They're horrible, some of these people. I'd rather live a very clean, wholesome life. Isn't it all about life and the richness of it? Live a rich, full life. Excuse me. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, you guys have been very quiet. Yeah, I hope it made a lot of sense. Yeah, a lot of distractions. Just see for what it is. It's a lot of distraction. It's all designed to distract you, like a ping pong game. Yeah, there are things being done here, and yeah, they're setting us up, putting in new pestilence now called the monkey something, monkey virus. Ridiculous. Yeah, really ridiculous. So you make the decision for yourself how you want to live your life and then pursue it. That's all I can say. Pursue the life you want to live. I want to choose a spirit-filled life, a happy life, because this one stinks. Yeah. Yeah, I want to have a fantastic day. Yeah, the sun looks like it's starting to try to come out. Yeah, this is a big mist, a fog. It never used to do this. Yeah, this is several days in a row that's been doing this. They're doing something out there. I think, altering nature. They're altering nature. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Love, when you look in the mirror, just tell yourself you love yourself. Love yourself. Whatever genetics you have, whatever history you have, you are who you are. Just embrace it and say thank you and let me do the best with what I have. Okay? I thank you for this, listen to this live stream. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any comments, you can write it below. And if you want to support this channel, you could PayPal me. click on my link that's on my channel, Spirit Journey channel. The link is on the top right of the banner. Just click on it, follow the prompt, and any amount would be greatly appreciated. And I thank you all in advance. I appreciate you all. Peace, love, joy, and power, and safety and love to you all. Be safe, guys. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.